Let's get some chords down first, and then maybe we can work with some effects.
Yeah, because we could slap effects on both of them or one or the other. Yeah.
That's
Okay,
true.
cool. Let's do some chord things.
So we want to find an instrument that we like by browsing in the let's see. Do you want to? Or do you want me to do it? I can do it.
No. You're the master. I'm here for the like commentary.
I'll let you put the chords down. How about that?
There we go.
So let's find one that we like. We go to the browser, go to instruments, and light we'll have a selection. It's not going to have every synth, and they're not going to be as adjustable, but they will work. You probably have. Do you have one that is analog? You have to remind me what you have in light.
Drum rack, impulse, instrument rack, and simpler.
Okay. Impulse will work. Oh wait, simpler will work.
Yeah.
Because we're going to look for maybe just kind of we could go synthy, but I'm just going to go for like a little piano or an organ or something like that. So we expand simpler. I'm going to go down to piano and keys, and it's not going to preview anything when I click on it unless I do this. So let's listen to what it shows us. Okay. A chord. Let's just get like a cheap organ, just a nice little organ. So, well, does that work for you?
That works for me. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So once you found one that you like, we drag it to the MIDI clip or the MIDI track right next to it, and we let go to assign it to that track. So you'll notice that when you assigned a new instrument to a new track, arm record button down there turns on automatically. That's just saying you open a new instrument, I'm ready to accept MIDI data.
Is yours looping right now?
Yeah, real-time problem. So I'm looping. What's going on?
Well, do you wanna share your screen? We can take a look at it.
Sure. I mean, is a quick fix just like pressing the not play, like the play?
Yeah, it might just be a pause button, or like just hit the space bar.
If you hit the
that did it?
Yeah, so if it's looping and you don't want it to, the first place to check is the little preview button down there, and if that doesn't do it, then you can usually double click on stop as kind of sort of a panic button.
Stop is your panic button.
Yeah. So from here we can sort of just play with some chords using our QWERTY keyboard. So we either click on the keyboard.
You can drag our zoom window out of the way if it's driving you nuts. Yeah.
You can either click on the QWERTY keyboard to MIDI keyboard, or you could hit M on your keyboard. And since our organ track is armed down here, the little red button is on, we can sort of play around with it. That is really low. Raise the octave with X, maybe X again. And if I hit space, my beat will start. And I can sort of do what I like. It's hard to do on a QWERTY keyboard, but that's you can kind of get some ideas as you go from there.
And if you wanted to, you could record it in that way.
Yeah, we could do it either way. We can record that in real time, or we can plunk out the chords with our mouse. But we could just do it in real time since we've already done it the first way. What do you think?
Okay. I mean, that could be fun. Like, show another way to put notes in. Like, we've shown you 3 so far.
Yeah.
Here's another way to like record them. Yeah.
So I'll set it up and then you can record it. How about that?
Oh.
I can do it. Listen.
On the QWERTY keyboard, I am not fast. I don't know about you, Nicki, but I'm not quick on my feet when it comes to being like, okay, so A is middle C and D is E, and oh my God, what are my notes?
Well, let's keep it simple then.
I think the best part about beat making and just breaking from like counterpoint and traditional.
That's true, actually.
The surprise of where the chord might go. So
that's very true, because usually that's like how my music making works in Ableton now, is either I've got my MIDI keyboard plugged in so I can like have my music brain on and be like, this is my theory at work, or I turn it off intentionally so that I can be like, let's just see what happens. Sometimes it's nice to have that. So yeah, okay, maybe. Okay, go ahead and set me up and I'll do it.
Yeah, and even if you mess up, you can hit undo. It'll just disappear. It's digital. It never even happened.
Okay, cool. I'll do it.
So first thing we want to do is make sure we have an instrument and we have it armed for recording. Otherwise, we'll hit start and it won't won't make any sound. I'm gonna recommend we turn on some quantization so we don't have chords just sitting in like, you know, a micron outside of the beat. And that's going to be in our edit menu. We go all the way down to record quantization. Is that menu appearing or not? Because Zoom sometimes
Yep, I'm seeing it.
blur it out.
Oh, perfect.
Good. Right now it's set to none. So that's going to be just, you know, loosey-goosey wherever it ends up. I'm just going to say 16th note should be okay. If it gets off, we can fix it. So we have the quantization set. Now, I'm going to recommend that we have an empty clip to record into, because if we just hit the record button, it's going to record off into the distance, and we can record. It won't loop. It'll just go for until we hit stop, and that's one thing. But if we're making a loop, double click to create an empty clip. We'll just keep it a single measure long. That loops.
So it'll just keep looping, and if I don't like what I did the first time, I can fix it the second time. You know, that's yeah.
So I'm going to give you 2 measures to work in.
Okay.
So one measure is what this is right now. But if I go to the end of this little brace right here, where that little arrow is, my cursor turns into sort of a bracket on the right. If I click and drag that, I'm going to drag it until I get to a little more, till I get to 2 whole measures. That's going to be.
You're about to give me 4 measures, man.
Oh, I went too far. Up to 3. And you can notice too that down here, the length changed to 2. You can also just type it in numerically.
Yeah.
4 measures, 1 measure. It goes measures, beats, 16ths. So length, 2 measures. We have a clip that's empty. It's 2 measures long, and it is just waiting for chords.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. So once I'm ready to record, I'm going to hit the session record button.
Which is very important, different than the main record button.
Arrangement record is something a little bit different, which we'll go into soon, I think. Session record is going to keep it to this clip where we want it right now. The count in over here is usually set to 1 bar. You shouldn't have to change that. But if you ever want to, it's this arrow next to the metronome, which you can turn on or off. We have a drum clip, so we don't really need it.
Shouldn't need it.
All right. So let's test it out. Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, so when I hit this, I should get 1 measure count in.
And then it'll let you go.
Let me go. All right, here we go. I have no idea what's going to come out of my fingers.
It works. Now we can adjust that in real time. I have the whole thing selected.
Oh, that's nice to know you can do that.
We lost that one. That'll be enough to work.
Yeah.
Yep. So once we have a couple of chords laid out, just a couple of things to point out. When you're in just standard note laying mode, dragging a box around, that whole selection will let you manipulate it. You can use the arrow keys up and down, transpose it up and down. Shift up will do an octave. Shift down will do an octave.
I did not know that.
It's handy.
It
sounds good low. Yeah. And so once we have that, that's a clip that we just recorded in real time. We can add notes by double clicking if we'd like. We can extend them. I mean, it kind of is whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah, but this for me is where Ableton starts to get really fun. Like, I love that it's just going to keep going while I keep adding stuff to it or messing with it. Like, I love that that's just automatically happening.
So I guess from here we could make a couple of variations and then go into scenes, like triggering scenes with hotkeys. Or
yeah, that sounds good. And then we can call it there. Like, because I imagine that what Gabby's looking for is something that's like short too. But we can keep chatting if you want to after we finish recording. So if you have other questions, we can answer them or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, there's something really fun I can show you before we do this. And it's like, it's another way to capture MIDI.
Ooh, yeah.
And I cannot remember if Ableton Lite has it or not. You'll have to tell me.
If they do, it'd be really cool.
Well, we're going to demonstrate it anyway, so it's hopefully going to be cool either way. So anytime you are you have a track that's armed for recording and you're plunking MIDI away, doing your thing, and you stumble across a thing that you play that you love it, but you
And you're like, dang it, I wish I was recording that.
yeah, Ableton is always recording MIDI. It's always recording your MIDI, and as long as it's within, I think it's like a minute 30, you can click on the MIDI capture button, and it will create a clip with what you just played, and it will do its best guess to put it in the tempo that you selected.
Why does that sound like Zelda?
Yeah, yeah, it kind of reminds me of that. But it works for drum machine clips, so it'll try to guess the tempo of what it is. Oops, I got to arm this for recording. Now it should work. Capture MIDI.
Oh,
pretty close.
And when you capture it, it creates its own new clip below.
Yep.
Yeah, and whichever one you have armed for recording, that's where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Spaces where I found this really useful is in like if I've been improvising in Ableton with like a client and I've discovered that we've settled into some sort of a groove or something keeps coming up that I'm, especially like if you're remote control, like screen sharing and the participant is remote controlling your screen and you hear something that you think is really cool while they're doing their MIDI thing, sometimes I'll just like sneak up and hit that little MIDI capture just to be like,
to save it.
That's cool, I want to save it.
Yeah.
You know, like it can be really useful.
I'm just kind of making some adjustments to it while you were talking. I changed the starting point by dragging the loop brace left to right.
Nice.
And I quantized it with the menu. You can either do a double finger click and quantize it, or you can do Command or Control U. But let's see what this sounds like now. And now we have a variation. We can trigger the different clips
just by clicking around.
Clicking on the individual play buttons there.
Right. Can two clips in the same track sound at one time?
Nope. They're just vertical like that. It's only that one instrument with that one clip. If I wanted to, I can duplicate the track.
Right, there's a workaround.
Control D will just duplicate that track, clips and all, and I could make things going on top of that with perhaps differently tuned instruments, different effects on this one, but different
or you
clips.
Can even drag things back and forth. So like say if you wanted to, yeah, exactly. So
but,
you could do that and have those two clips play at the same time.
Yep. But yep, when they're in the same track, clips will not play simultaneously. That's they did that on purpose, and it forces you to do things a certain way. But
I feel like it can be useful to duplicate a track. Like let's say if you put just effects on one track, maybe you have a really wet track, and then the second track can just be like the dry version or the non-effect version. That can itself be its own variation.
Totally.
It definitely can.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want with the second track.
Yeah, because we haven't even talked about like once you've got them all laid out like this, triggering scenes.
Yeah. So I guess this session, like this view we're in right now, this is called the session view, and it's probably the most unique thing about Ableton because when you hit tab, it brings you to arrangement view, which is a much more traditional left to right kind of a thing. That's what most folks are used to. But the big thing with session view is you can organize your song parts, your sections into what they call scenes. And on the far right, under your master track here, you have your scenes that when you click on the play button, it will trigger everything in that horizontal row. Wow. So what a lot of folks will do is it'll be, rename it intro, and then you have the verse, pre-chorus, and so on and so on. And you can have your song is controllable scene by scene.
Right, yeah. And so in real time, you know, in a session or in your own little like jam space, you can be individually triggering things and kind of have the opportunity to play with putting different pieces of your track, of your song together.
Yeah, it's different parts of the song happening at the same time at different times. You can duplicate scenes. So if you like, I want that, but more hi-hat, you can duplicate intro and then
stick some more hi-hat
give it
in
more
there.
hi-hat or whatever else you want to. But
yeah. And with all of this too, I guess like just a closing thought on scenes is this is where you can utilize that main record button if you wanted to like capture all of this. Like you can have a session where you're going to go ahead and hit the main record button, DJ your way through it, and then at the end of it you have a recorded result that's in the horizontal view.
Do you want to do some hotkeys and just do that real quick?
Yeah, we could do that real quick.
Okay. Last thought, or almost last thought. So in the top right, there's a little button that says key. When you click on that, everything will turn orange. And everything that is orange can be assigned to one of your QWERTY keyboard keys. So clicking on what would normally trigger the scene for the intro, I'm just going to press the number 1, and we can see on the left that scene 2, the intro, is now assigned to key 1. I go to the verse. Was that the variation? I can't remember. I think it was just, I think I cloned this one. I'll just do them all. 2 is going to be the next one. Click on the play button to select it, push the key to assign it, 3 and 4.
Cool.
And when I'm done, I hit the key button to go back. And now when I push 1, it'll trigger that scene, 2, 3, and it'll wait to trigger them on the next downbeat, so I don't mess things up too much.
Yeah, it tries to help you out.
It does. And so now what Natasha was saying is that once you have your scenes all laid out, and we decided to set them up with hotkeys, clicking on the arrangement record is, I want to make sure this one starts with that. So it's activated. Now when I hit the session record, it's all being recorded into my session view, the left to right view. So I can still use the hotkeys. So I go to number 2. Wait, did I do it? Number 3. Where's my hi-hat one?
Your hi-hat one is gone.
Did I delete it? I might have.
Anyway, the main point of all of this is that it's all there.
It recorded it though. That whole thing, mistakes and all, it recorded it. When we got it right, we hit the arrangement view to solidify it, and
now you can mess with it just like any other DAW would let you mess with it.
In arrangement view, this is what we just did.
Yeah.
Clip view down there is the same. We can edit the clip like we did in session view. It's just that now we have it in on the left to right.
Yeah, so this is the method that I'll usually use if I want to save something that I did with a participant or on my own. Like if I want to export one of my tracks so it can be downloaded and listened to somewhere. That's the methodology that I'll use. So yeah, play around in session view, record what you did, and then export it.
I'm really amazed at the capabilities of like just being able to live DJ, like aside from recording and creating a product, just being able to kind of play something out, get an idea down, and like within minutes have a loop.
Yeah.
The ease of access from brain to the speakers works for me. I think that they joked at one time, like Ableton when it came out was not designed to be a DJ tool, but it kept winning awards like DJing best DJ software. Ableton is like, this is not a DJ software, but we're glad that it's working so well. And it has worked. I mean, it now they have crossfading built into it, so they've kind of leaned into it. But it's good for DJing too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's primarily where I find my use of it clinically, is in a sort of DJ style setup.
Because Pro Tools doesn't have anything like this. It's straight up composition. It's like
and you get a lot of work done.
And that's it. So it's really cool to learn about this.
It's interesting. I think it's very it's creative. It's the creativity. It sort of creates the creativity, if that makes any sense. Using the program sort of sparks, just the program itself sparks creativity, at least for me.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for showing me the grounds here.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you for being like interested in it and like wanting to do this little like sit down and like play around type of time.
Ever since like the middle of last, I guess, quarantine situation, I was like, what do I love to do? And I grew up on GarageBand. I really like the second I got that computer, I was all over it. And then I took some music tech courses in undergrad. So I've like kind of ebbed and flowed with my music technology habits. And yeah, ever since I got Pro Tools again and my MIDI keyboard, I've just wanted to ingest all of
Yeah. It's just like a whole new crop of
It
like
starts to
bedroom
become a
producers.
habit.
And yeah, it's cool.
Like I need to, get my fix. I need my new MIDI thing and my new, yeah.
a launch pad now. I got to get my finger grooving on.
Yes. Yeah. I have a push 2 coming soon that I'm very excited about for Ableton. I've been utilizing the push 1 and really loving that. Like I feel like every new thing that you get that helps you get your hands on the music in a different way changes how you music.
Yes.
Just
I absolutely agree. The way that you can manipulate sound so easily these days, it makes me feel really capable, and it makes me feel like I, like you said, get your thoughts down into music really quickly.
Yeah, it helps me reroute around some of the ways that I used to trip myself up. It's just, I think that's part of why we landed on like the word playground to describe the things that we're creating, because that's what they feel like. They feel like playgrounds. Like I said earlier, we've got lots of opportunities at btplaygrounds.com or via the Nook portal to get connected with us and have more opportunities to learn or just jam out. That's what we do.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
that's good.